If all metal turned to liquid at sunrise, your entire civilization would dissolve in minutes. The first light of dawn hits the steel frame of your skyscraper, and its molecular bonds instantly forget how to be solid. Millions of tons of structural steel across a city like New York become a viscous, shimmering slurry. At 2.7 thousand degrees Fahrenheit, molten steel flows like thick syrup, seeking the lowest point. So what happens when every foundation, every bridge, every wire holding your world together just melts? And how would the very concept of dawn change from a daily hope into a global weapon? The first sunrise would be an extinction-level event, but not from fire. It's from collapse. Modern buildings don't just fall. They liquefy from the inside out. Reinforced concrete explodes as the rebar within vaporizes into liquid metal, creating superheated steam pockets. Every car on every morning commute becomes a puddle of aluminum engine block and molten steel chassis, flooding streets with metallic lava. Subway tunnels, their tracks and support beams gone, become tombs filling with a slow-moving, incandescent tide. But the true horror isn't the immediate destruction. It's the domino effect on systems you never see. The power grid vanishes as copper wires drip from their poles. Water mains rupture where their metal valves give way. Every data center, every server farm, every hard drive storing human knowledge becomes a puddle of alloyed goo. By the time the sun is fully above the horizon, the technological age is over. Literally dissolved. So how do you even begin to survive a world where metal can't exist in daylight? You run to the shadows, and you never ever stop. But it's not just your city. It's the planet. Consider airplanes. A commercial jet at 35,000 feet encounters dawn earlier than the ground below. The moment sunlight licks the aluminum skin, the entire aircraft becomes a falling, molten meteor. Air traffic worldwide would cease in a cascading wave, following the Terminator line of sunrise. Ships at sea, their hulls and engines liquid, would slip beneath the waves in a hiss of steam. Satellites in orbit, heated by the sun, would deform and spin apart, creating a permanent belt of liquid metal debris encircling the Earth. The International Space Station. A floating bubble of molten aluminum and titanium, its shape lost to surface tension. Communication dies globally in under 90 minutes. GPS signals vanish. We are instantly, irrevocably blind. But this raises a terrifying new loop. If metal is only solid in darkness, what monstrous new technologies would be invented, and what old ones would become utterly sacred? The re-engagement spectacle isn't the first day. It's the first month. Humanity doesn't go extinct. It bifurcates. A new chrono-geography emerges, dictated solely by sunlight. The polar regions, with their months-long nights, become the new centers of power and desperate refuge. Mining operations in perpetual Antarctic winter become the most valuable real estate in history, as ore can be smelted and shaped in the endless dark. But you can't carry it into the light. So a new, global, nocturnal economy is born. Trade happens in massive, insulated convoys that only move during the night, or through deep, sun-proof tunnels. The amber markets emerge, temporary bazaars at dusk where liquid metal, poured into ceramic molds at the last second, is bartered for food and medicine as the world darkens. Weapons revert to stone, wood, and ceramic. The wheel is reinvented, not with axles but with magnetic levitation over guideways or simple stone bearings. Medicine reverts to pre-industrial techniques, but with a chilling twist. Any metal surgical tool must be used and remelted before dawn, making complex surgery a race against the clock. If you like this video, drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe to get notified when the next video comes out. Then the biological changes begin. Human bodies contain trace metals, iron in our blood, zinc in our enzymes. The first time a human is caught in direct sunrise, their blood literally begins to boil. Hemoglobin, with its iron core, destabilizes. It's not instant death for a person in full sun, but it is a slow, systemic poisoning, fever, organ failure, a total collapse of cellular respiration. Evolution, suddenly on a brutal fast-forward, would favor populations with genetic mutations for extremely efficient non-iron-based oxygen carriers, or for severe melanin. Protection against even the faintest dawn light. We would become a species of vampires, biologically tied to the night. But what about the metal inside the Earth itself? The outer core is a swirling sea of liquid iron and nickel. Does sunrise affect that too? The passive lull is the quiet horror of adaptation, but then the burst sequence hits. The planet itself starts to die. The Earth's magnetic field is generated by the motion of that molten metal in the core. If the daily sunrise somehow disrupts the state of the outer core, introducing a daily solidification and reliquefaction cycle at the mantle boundary, the geomagnetic field begins to falter. Without that shield, solar and cosmic radiation bombards the surface. The already deadly sunrise now carries with it a wave of mutagenic radiation, sterilizing the daylit side of Earth. The night side is the only place life can cling on. The atmosphere itself, no longer held as tightly by a stable magnetic field, begins to strip away into space over centuries. Earth starts to look like Mars. The ultimate climax isn't the death of technology. It's the death of a biosphere. The final, haunting image of humanity is not in caves, but perhaps in a last, desperate bid to leave a planet that has become chemically hostile to its own core. They would build a craft not of metal, but of hardened ceramic and glass, launched not by rockets but by some immense, dark energy pressure, seeking a world with a permanent, gentle twilight. And as that last arc slips into the eternal dark between stars, the final, terrifying question resolves. Civilization wasn't destroyed by the loss of metal. It was doomed by the loss of permanence. The very idea of a solid, reliable world was the first casualty of that first, fatal dawn. To see what happens when gravity suddenly doubles, watch this video next.